Hey. All right, let me just get our folks on Facebook on so we could get started. So, if you start breathing. All right, just a moment. Let it go, let it go, let it go. All right, let me stop this because I don't own this. But we always have to start with a jam. I do. All right, and we are now live on Facebook as well, I believe. Okay, cool. We here. Hey, hi family. How y'all doing? Happy Sunday. Today is Sunday, the 21st of March, 2021, 3/21/21 with the repetition. How y'all doing? We made it. It has been a crazy week. It has been a crazy week. So I always start with how I'm doing. I'm healthy and I'm grateful for that. But I find myself today feeling a whole bunch of stuff. And yeah, but I'm here and present. I'm happy that y'all are here. Thank you for continuing to support the Just Chamia show. Before I get into doing the things from around the gram that I've seen, I want to remind you that I am documenting our Black experience living through COVID, and I would love to hear from you. And if you would love to participate, I would just love to interview you and hear how your life is and how it's been, and any just hot takes that you have on living Black through COVID. Please do reach out. You can email me at info@chamialarray.com. You can also DM me anywhere on social media at Just Chamia, JUSTCHAMIA. So we would love to hear from you. Would love to include you in the documentary on our Black experience living through COVID. So please reach out. As a reminder, I am the author of Dear Love, a collection of love letters written to love. Available everywhere that books are sold. So check it out because, again, Black love is revolutionary, and I'm all about hashtag DearLoveTheMovement. So let's do that. Let's talk about love. And we will do more of that later. But to get started, I am going to share some things that I saw from around the gram. Want to know how y'all are doing as well. Hey, family, how y'all doing? Y'all are very active, and I appreciate your reaching out to me in all the ways that you do, whether it's by text or by email, by DM, by phone call, by the friend of a friend of a friend network. Y'all have been showing up and reaching out and sharing information with me for our Black community. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you. Please continue to do so. Please continue to share articles, stories that we ain't heard about, that we need to talk about, things going on and affecting us, because that's what I'm here for. I'm also here to listen and to be a shoulder. And so many of you have been reaching out on that. And I am grateful to be that, because we need that. We all need love. We all need to be heard. And we all deserve comfort and attention. And I'm here for it. And I'm here for it. And there's so much going on. So more on that throughout the show. Let me start with some things that I have seen from around the gram since I was last with you. And then we can talk about it. So one of the things that I saw on Instagram, and this is at The Art Alchemist: don't take people for granted. No matter how much they love you, people get tired eventually. And I guess that's a quote from Sonia to Cly, or how you pronounce your last name. Sorry, I'm butchering that. But that's absolutely true. Everyone deserves love, and people give it. Like me, I'm that's my life. But no one wants to be taken for granted, and don't no suckers live here. So If you're not appreciating people, they will move on. They might move on with some feelings about how you treated them too. So just remember not to take people for granted. This one I loved, and this is by my girl Michelle at cool_breeze1012. Hard facts, yes. I can do all things through Black people, rhythmically chanting, "A, who strengthened me." Amen. That's right. This gave me so much life when she shared this, because I don't know what it is. Like, you have your hype people, and when they back, and then you doing whatever it is you're doing. You could be mixing something in the pot, you can be painting, you could be dancing, you can be giving a presentation, you could be just doing business, making moves, being a good parent, whatever it is. But when you feeling down, there's nothing like having your village behind you, supporting and amping you up. And, you know, it's something about that, you know, that gets us going. So I saw this, I loved it. I'm saving that, and it's so true. Other things, there's so much news, of course, we're going to get into, but I'm sharing some other vibes and some things that I saw. So this one is from at Energy Healing Jewelry. Before you respond to someone, remember that your response is an energetic connection, and their state could affect your vibrational frequency. Rise above anything toxic and surround yourself with positive people who lift you up, or at least don't drain your energy. So I felt a lot of different things about this. Yes, absolutely. Anytime you're around other people, there's an energy exchange, even if it's through the phone, even if it's through the screen. So you have to be very careful to mind your energy and protect your space. That being said, surrounding yourself with positive people. Yes, surround yourself with positive people, but recognize that people can have negative moments and still be a positive person, because life is not always roses and peaches and sunshine and butterflies and all that. Real shit happens. And so you want to be very careful with this when you're thinking about removing people from your life. It's not just about them having a negative moment or experience. We all are human beings. If they're not good in your life and they're unhealthy for your life, certainly remove them. But we have to be very careful about throwing people away unnecessarily. And that's something that, you know, they want us to do, to just be throwing people away, doing all that and cutting each other off, icing each other, ghosting each other. We don't need to do that. You have to protect your energy and love people. And you have to also leave room for people to go through and experience the things that make them human and that happen in life. But I love that as well. There's so much. I love Total Body by April and all of her workouts. I saved many of them. I'm not doing as much as I should, but thank you, sis. Just know that I appreciate you showing all the simple things that we could do at home with what we have. And her and her husband and their Black love and their story and their beautiful children. I love them. So shout out to you, sis, as well. I will share two more things here. One, as we talk about Black love, so this was posted by at Richmond Post. So the Richmond Post, we appreciate you. So some relationship green flags. So we often talk about red flags. Here's some green flags. And this is in any type of relationship, whether it's a family member, a friend, a romantic relationship, certainly. So some relationship green flags. And I'm not going to read them all, but here's a few. One, they apologize when they're wrong. Absolutely something that we appreciate. They encourage your connections with other people. So if someone's trying to isolate you and tell you how much you don't need all these other people in your life, you just need them, flag. But if they're doing this and encouraging your connections with other people, especially other people that are healthy and strengthen you up and edify who you are, that's a great thing. Someone who sets, honors, and respects boundaries, their own and your boundaries. Very healthy sign. They are intentional about resolving conflict. So things happen, and it's not about always being a bigger person and this and that. It's about honoring the relationship and valuing that relationship. And so we're going to come and have a discussion about this. We might not agree, but we are going to resolve it because the relationship matters, and we can't leave it broken or ill, in an ill place. And someone who makes you feel seen, heard, and appreciated. That is so important. That is so important. Because we all deserve to be seen and heard and appreciated as well. Hey, Mr. Bird, I see that you are connecting to audio, so I'll give you just another second as I share this last thing here. From Kindred the Fam, we appreciate Kindred the Fam, Kindred the wife, Uncle and Unc been coming with it. I love them. They keep me so entertained, and they are just beautiful people, all about Black love. I love them and their whole tribe. But Unc posted this. reminder to self. And so this certainly, I use this and I was like, yeah, speak to me with my Insta therapy. Yes, you deserve softness. Reminder, you deserve kindness. You deserve stillness, patience, love, respect, care, laughter, intimacy, hugs, kisses, flowers. You deserve it all. So this is a reminder to myself. And as I say it to myself, I'm saying it to all of you. We deserve this. We deserve this. We deserve this love. We deserve compassion. We deserve all the beautiful things in abundance in our lives. Don't let anyone tell you different. So those are just a few things to start off that I've seen from around the gram that I wanted to share with y'all. And we have a lot more show to get into. Hello, Mr. Bird. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Good to see you on this day. So I just shared some things from around the gram, and we're gonna get into some other topics, but certainly feel free to tap in with your comments at any point.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So first, I'm going to touch on COVID. There's just so much going on, and my heart is in a lot of different things. And I see you, yes, protecting your energy. Yes, and then remembering in those that people have negative moments, absolutely, and that doesn't make them a bad person or a negative person overall. Yes, beautiful, lovely author, Kimra Lizette, thank you for watching the show. I love you and I appreciate you so much. All right, so real quick, I'm gonna talk about COVID just a little bit because there's just so much life I'm gonna talk about with us. And so I'm gonna touch on a few things. I'm not gonna share as many articles about COVID. They're out there, y'all. But here's what we need to know. As of today, according to the Johns Hopkins tracker, which you all have, I'll post the link again in the chat and you can compare. So the two trackers that I'm using are the World Health Organization's tracker, as well as Johns Hopkins University tracker, just to see where things are globally and, you know, regionally with COVID. So as of today, we are at 29,810,217 cases of COVID that have happened since the start of the pandemic here in the United States. Last time we were together, we were at about 28.9 million. Globally, we're at 123,059,470 today. Last time we were together, we were at about 116.7 million. So things are continuing to increase. Globally, you've heard that several places from the European Union, Brazil, all over, the variants are still doing what they do. Cases are going up, new lockdowns are being imposed. But then there's what's happening here in America. So I want to spend a little bit of time talking about that. For our Black population, again, I'm going to post a couple of quick links into the chat for those of you on Facebook, and I'll say them just in case you're watching this on YouTube later. Or you come on Facebook and you're not watching it from a page or some other kind of way and you can't see the links, I'll tell you what they are. And these links that I'm posting in the comments now for those of you on Facebook are some trackers, and they give some specific statistics for by ethnicity. So for us, Black folks, what's going on with it. So one of those is covidtracking.com/race. The other is apmresearchlab.org. And both of those will give you some breakdown of what's happening with COVID in Black community here in America by state. And sometimes you can even break it down further than the state level. So we need to know that where it's at. That being said, Black folks, how are you doing now that restrictions are easing? So something that's been very disturbing to me over this last week, I don't know what news you're watching, but the things that I have been seeing has been like the celebration, a year since the start of the pandemic, you know, now that we're coming out of the pandemic, you know, all of this kind of stuff, and things are opening up everywhere. A lot has happened in this last couple of weeks. So things are opening up. People are traveling extensively. The Centers for Disease Control here in the United States is, I don't know what the hell they're doing. It's a mess, but nevertheless, they, so it's the CDC and some others. So in the state of California, for example, we had this tier system where it was a colored system. Purple was the worst, and red, orange, so on, based on, you know, the case rates, case positivity rate, hospitalizations, et cetera. Well, here in the Bay Area, one of the things that happened was there was some stagnation between where some of the counties were and where they could be into the next tier. And so, for example, in Contra Costa County, they were able to move from the purple tier to the red tier, less restrictive tier, because the game was changed. They was like, oh, well, let's factor in how many people were vaccinated, some other things. They changed it up. So what was purple is not longer purple anymore, and y'all can open up some more stuff. We're just gonna move it, get things moving faster. So that happened. Then what the CDC, this is my take on it, by the way, and how they did it. It's what happened, but my spin on it, right? Paraphrasing. And then with the CDC, we've heard for the last year plus that you need to at least have 6 feet of distance, knowing that respiratory droplets can travel up to 30 feet. But at least 6 foot distance is what has been the requirement, the guidelines that we have here in this country for the last year plus, wherever you are. If you're working, if you're standing in a grocery store line, at school, whatever. But what happened this week is that the CDC, they made a change. They said that in order for schools to open, kids don't have to be 6 feet apart. They could be as low as like 3 feet apart, and it's safe and they'll be fine. I have my take on that. But before I give you my take, I want to ask you, Lamar, if you have any thoughts on this. And I muted you because I was getting a little background noise as I was talking, but if you want to unmute yourself, and what's your take so far? Because I have so much more I'm going to share, but what's your take so far as of today and where COVID is and some of the movement that you've seen with things reopening, including the CDC's guidance this week that for schools to reopen, the kids don't need to keep 6 feet, they can be 3 feet apart.
Well, I've been seeing people get a lot closer than the 3 feet and not wearing their mask. And I've asked people, can you please put your mask on? Oh, no, it's all right. I don't have anything. I'm like, you don't know that for sure. And
Right.
when I go out in public, normally I have a double mask on just for that reason. So I'm not understanding why, like you said, the CDC moved it from 6 feet to 3.
But they didn't do it for everything. They did it, they said for the schools. I don't think they said that it was for everywhere, everybody. You can now just keep 3 feet. I think they was just specifically for the school. I'll go to their website and verify that, but that's very suspicious to me. That's very suspicious.
But there's been people that's closer than that. And I'm like, that's really spreading the cooties, as I say.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think it should be back to the 6 feet or more.
Right. I agree. I'll share my screen because I'm all about fact checking and I want to be accurate in the things that I'm speaking on. I was like, surely they couldn't have just done it for the schools. Well, here we go. So for those of you on Facebook, I will post this into the comments now. And then for everybody else, you can Google it. Or, I'll tell you that the link, because it's a long link, I don't want to read the whole thing out, but it's cdc.gov/2019-ncove/community/schools-childcare/ Anyway, if you Google CDC school guidance, you'll get to this page. And this was updated March 19th, so just a couple of days ago. And no, what we see from the CDC on my screen right now is operational strategy for K-12 schools through phased prevention. Here's the summary of recent changes. We'll just go through this. So bullet point number 1, revise physical distancing recommendations to reflect at least 3 feet between students and classrooms and provide clearer guidance when a greater distance such as 6 feet is recommended. Clarify that ventilation is a component of strategies to clean and maintain healthy facilities. Remove recommendation of physical barriers. Clarify the role of community transmission levels in decision-making. Added guidance on interventions when clusters occur. So they're saying that evidence suggests, I believe there was one study, of course you could find a study, you could create a study to say whatever the hell you want it to say, but evidence suggests that many K-12 schools that have strictly implemented prevention strategies have been able to safely open for in-person instruction and remain open. Doesn't mean that people haven't gotten COVID, but okay. CDC's K-12 operational strategy, so on and so forth. Anyway, you guys could go in and read this. I've done my reading, but the point is they're saying that everywhere else you still need to keep your distance, but when it comes to the babies, and not just the babies, with the staff too. We got to think about everybody that's in these school environments, the teachers, the custodial staff, the site supervisors, the administrators, the learning special. I mean, everybody that's there on the parent volunteers. So 3 feet, but everywhere else in life, it doesn't make sense. And, you know, believing that God is not the author of confusion, when stuff don't make sense, it's because it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. This doesn't tell me that it's safe. This tells me there's an ulterior motive. To me, it's economics. To me, it's because if you think about public schools and the average size of a public school classroom, a lot of classes have between 30 and 40 students. There's no way that they can socially distance 30 to 40 students. So what do? Well, what they do is they say, you don't have to keep them so far apart. Get them in there. Here in California, the governor incentivized schools to open sooner by saying, hey, if you do it by this date, we'll give you some money. He said that. So you have the carrot of money, you have the CDC saying, oh, for the kids, you don't have to keep them so far apart. This stuff is sounding real foul to me. Now, parents, you have to make your own decisions. I'm a parent of an elementary school age child, and to me, this doesn't sound safe. As I'm talking to educators, my mother is a retired educator. And I have several friends, family members, people in the community that are educators and administrators. And many of them have shared their concerns. They've shared how they feel that their unions haven't been advocating on their behalf. Even if, you know, the majority feels or group feels one way, what about those who have a dissenting opinion and their right to protect themselves and their health and not being provided the resources to do exactly that? This is a problem, y'all. This is a problem. Trust me. I love being outside. I love getting and going, and I love jet setting. Those who know me personally know I've traveled extensively, and I look forward to doing so again. But when it makes sense and when it's safe. And now I don't feel that it's safe, and I also don't believe, don't see that decisions are being made in the interest of public health, that they're being made for a whole bunch of other reasons, but not in the interest of my health and well-being, or my child's health and well-being, or our collective Black health and well-being. And so because of that, I have to know and move a certain kind of way. And I encourage you to do so too. Lamar, I did just share. So we saw what the CDC said, and we know for a fact that these public schools, they have a lot of students. And so if you think about one classroom, 30 students, or let's say 35, because that sounds more accurate, 33, 35, they can't physically distance 6 feet apart, one class, 35 students. So what do? You say you don't have to keep them so far apart, and then you rotate them in, right? Right? So they're doing things. It's not just because, oh, let's get them all back in and we could do this safely. No, they're making some concessions on your health. And Black folks, you need to know this. You need to know what you need to see. You need to think critically. It's happening right in plain sight. So that was one thing that happened this week with COVID that was horrific. Another thing, there's all this vaccine stuff. I told y'all already, I've shared, go back and watch prior episodes, my thoughts and apprehensions about the vaccine for me. Now, I have never said and never will say people what they should do, what you should do for your health, if you should get the vaccine or not. That is a very personal choice. But I do believe that whatever decision you make, it should be an informed decision. You should understand what is being put into your body. You should understand that all vaccines are not made the same. For example, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is one that's made from DNA. It uses the DNA from aborted fetuses, but whatever. And then we know that the Moderna and the Pfizer vaccines are made from RNA, which is a different technology. First time it's been approved. It's been studied for years in different things, mostly in cancer, but never here. So I need to know that. Oh, this is Moderna's first approved product. Oh, good. Need to know that too. And there's several others. So you just need to know what your options are, the data behind it, if that gels with you and your body and the things that are going on with your body, so you can make an informed choice. That being said, a bunch of stuff has been going on with these vaccines in this last week. And one of the questions that's come to me a few times since the last time we were together is about the availability or lack of availability of the vaccines with the homeless population. And how can they get access to them, and some of them not having transportation to get to a vaccine site, and how come these services aren't being brought down into homeless encampments and things. So before I share something else, Lamar, is there anything you want to speak on in terms of vaccines or COVID overall?
My question is about the vaccine. How long does each one last? Like if a person does decide to get the vaccination, how long does it last?
Yeah, and so far they don't know the answer to that question. And there's interviews that the CEO of Pfizer, you can see, he said they don't know. They don't know. We have to wait and see. So for now, every 6 months, they're going and they're testing the blood of people who have had the vaccines to say, hey, do you still have these antibodies, whatever. But they know that it doesn't last forever, which is one of the reasons why they are proposing booster shots. They're setting the whole system up so that this is something that you have to take on an annual basis or some, reoccurring basis. They don't know if it's going to be annually or 3 times a year. They don't know what it's going to be, but they know that you're going to have to keep getting these shots. And then we also don't know if you have to keep getting them, if you're going to keep getting the same one, or if you're going to be hopping between manufacturers and types. But they do know that it doesn't last indefinitely. They do know that you're going to have to keep getting inoculated, and they're setting that money machine up right now. So that's the answer.
So basically, we're being used as lab rats. That's the way I'm feeling about it.
That's the way a lot of people are feeling about it. That's the way a lot of people are feeling about it. And I understand their need to respond to something. They're like, oh, people are dying. We got to fix this. So many people are dying. People are all in the hospital. We don't have enough capacity in hospitals. We don't have enough ventilators. We never will. We don't have enough ICU staff. We will never. So we have to stop people from getting to this place, to getting to the ICU. Okay, so they came up with a shot to do that. A shot that doesn't stop you from getting COVID. A shot that doesn't stop you from transmitting COVID to others. A shot that you're going to have to keep getting. Think about that. So with that, so thank y'all people for tagging me and stuff too. So Monique Lasser on Facebook posted, so COVID vaccine. So this is what the post was. We've got about 40 COVID-19 vaccines, the Moderna shot. Thank you for telling us which one, because a lot of these places I've been hearing is folks have been reaching out to me. If you go to make an appointment, they're not telling you which vaccine is available to you, which is problematic for me because I feel that I should have the choice in what goes into my body. So just like I can choose to take an Advil or a Tylenol, I can choose to take a particular brand of birth control pill or type or strength. I can choose if I have cancer. I can choose if I want a chemotherapy or an immunotherapy, and then look at my options and then make the choice. But when it comes to this vaccine, I can't choose between the available options which one I want. Not only that, a lot of people are being told, well, we won't know until you get here, and you just got to take it or don't take it. And then if you don't take it, well, good luck in your next appointment. Some people are being told that. But anyway, so I appreciate you, sis, for telling this. Let me finish reading the post because then I get into digressing, whatever. Okay, so she says, we got about 40 COVID-19 vaccines. They're Moderna. Appointment slots for tomorrow and 60 for Monday. If you're eligible, please inbox me for the link. And so who's eligible? Healthcare workers, long-term care residents, individuals 65 and older, those in different sectors of the population, including those who are homeless. So this is a place where if you're housing insecure, in San Francisco, they can go and get vaccinated. So she said they are vaccinating Fridays, Saturdays, and Mondays every week. The contact is Roshan at, so her email is rafiki@rafikicoalition.org. That's RAFIKI coalition.org. And you can leave a message on the Rafiki line at 415-615 9945. So that's if you need an appointment, if you're part of that, those eligible groups, including homeless. So this is in San Francisco. If you know someone that's homeless, housing insecure in San Francisco, or any of those other groups, these are some people who have some of the Moderna vaccines. They're available. This is a community vaccination effort, and you can call and get your appointment and go. So for homeless, and I know that there are several public transit systems that are giving free access to transportation to and from your vaccine appointment if this is what you're choosing to do. But I appreciate y'all sharing this information. If this is something that you're interested in, or you know someone that is interested in getting the vaccine, certainly our housing insecure or homeless populations. This is the Rafiki Coalition. So you can call their line 415-615-9945 or reach out to Rashawn R. Murray at Rafiki Coalition. That's RAFIKI coalition.org to make those arrangements. So I did want to share that. Thank y'all for reaching out to me about that. Happy to share the information on the platform, and I will post that into the comments in a moment. All right. In the midst of all this, so things are opening up, the weather is getting nicer, but COVID is still here. All of the variants are present. I just will remind y'all of this. We see how these variants have been acting everywhere else in the world. Everywhere else where the UK variant has showed up, the South African variant, the Brazilian variant, they're more contagious, meaning they're easier to spread, easier to get. And then we know, for example, with the UK variant, the original one, because there's 2 UK variants right now, and we know with the California variant as well that it's more contagious, but the UK variant is also more deadly. And anywhere that they've shown up, they do this. However, what happened is then they came to America, and what we're hearing is these onesie twosies. Oh, we have 1 case over here, 1 case over there, 3 cases over here. That's it. So is the air in America so special that the variants can't thrive and don't spread? Are the blood of American citizens, is it so different that it doesn't spread, it doesn't multiply, our cells are different? Is that what you think the case is, Lamar? Or is it that what we know from the FDA, that we have tests that give false negatives when variants are present? Is it what is widely documented here by our own scientists and laboratory staff, as well as globally, that in the United States, we're sequencing less than 1% of tests for variants? We're not looking for them, we can't see them. Or do you think, it's not that bad? What are your thoughts, Lamar?
I think they're not telling us the whole truth.
Mm-hmm.
I think they may be doing the studies, but not giving us the whole information that they come up with.
That's a fact. There's a lot of information we won't know until we're out of it. It's like, you ever watch a war movie? War movies aren't made during the war, but they happen after, and they're skewed, and it's a telling of the history. So same thing's kind of happening right now. We're in this viral war, and we can't see it, and we don't know everything that's happening. And of course, there's always information suppression, right? That happens. So yeah, a lot we won't know until years down the line, but this is where we are. I'm gonna read a couple of your comments from Facebook. People are behaving like vaccinations are a cure for COVID. Facts. Some parents are petitioning to get the children back in school. After Pittsburgh, this is Pittsburgh in California, after Pittsburgh announced that there would not be in-person school for the remainder of 2021, parents are petitioning to get the kids back. Right. Ventilation is a problem in California. Just think about schools with windows that don't open. And they don't have running HVAC everywhere. Think asthma rate in communities where Blacks live. Facts. That is so true. If you think about the aging infrastructure of our country, not only are our roads messed up and our bridges, and we don't have transportation and all this other different things for the way that we live and the numbers that we have now, but a lot of our schools are very old. They're old. They got a lot of issues, including pipes. We hear about that. But a lot of them have doors don't function properly, windows don't function properly, heating and ventilation systems that don't function properly. I don't know if all those things have been addressed and fixed and done so equitably, right? Everywhere. before sending all these kids back. These are all valid points. Thank y'all for sharing that. And yeah, parents want their kids back at school. I have a little kid. Kids need kids. Kids need kids. Kids need to run. Kids need to play. Kids need to learn in the classroom and to interact and to do all of that. Yes. Do I want my child to go back to school? Absolutely. Do I want him to go back right now? Hell no. Why? Because it's not the safest time for him and environment. So I understand that everybody doesn't have childcare. Everybody can't do it. There's learning loss. There's going to be years of effects of this on the children at all levels. I get it. I get it. I get it. Is it worth the risk? Everybody has to decide that for themselves and their child. And as we're talking about risks and things happening and foolishness, I want to share some other stuff that's going on right now. So it's spring break. For some, it's just warm weather for a lot of folks. And then we see things like, I'm going to share a few clips with y'all. So I want to explain what that video is. This is a white fool dressed up like the Joker from the Batman series, face painted, green hair, no mask on, in a crowd, waving his flag and screaming that COVID's over, baby. So that's what we see. We see lots of crowds. This is Miami Beach. We see, I'm going to share this video, and this is problematic on a few different levels. So thousands of people in South Florida, people are going to Cancun, all these different places they go when the weather gets nice. You see thousands of folks. Let me share this. Gunshots, it sounds like gunshots. News cameras, people running the floor. Mind you, that camera operator was also not wearing a mask. This is more coverage from within. I'm going to share, oh, and this is Cancun. I don't want to come to that yet. But what I saw, and any of you can see, there's lots of images of what's happening in Florida and other different places where it's warm. Thousands and thousands are going to cool off in the nice waters on the beaches and have a break. It's spring break. This is what we do, young people. They're out there twerking against poles and doing all kind of stuff and drinking and having a good time, not wearing no mask. COVID ain't real. COVID is over. We know that it ain't, but this is what's happening. So what's going to happen next? A surge. One of the reasons why I said that video was problematic in Florida. So the way that Florida is combating this problem, and this comes into the category of racism in America, a lot of this stuff, it's all, racism and is present in a lot of different things, including the pandemic. One of the problems that I have with that video and what's happening in Florida is the businesses are all allowed to be open. So hotels are open, bars, restaurants are open, beaches are open. The people who are responsible for those entities are allowed to do their business and telling people to come. And the way that they are handling that, they being the government there and the decision makers, is they just imposed a curfew. And then they're using police, militarized police, to enforce it. So you saw some sort of smoke devices being deployed against these crowds of children, many of them Black, I saw. You heard what sounded like gunshots. I don't know who fired it, but violence isn't the answer. And so instead of being responsible and caring for people's health and saying, don't come here in the thousands, our hotels will not be open for you. Hotels, you have to have reduced capacity. And bars, you have to have reduced capacity, or you can't open. Our beaches are closed. Instead of doing those things to protect public health, what they're doing instead is they are letting everything be open so they could take your money and then have the police chase you down and do stuff like that. That's not what we need. We don't need police turned on our Black youth. And we don't need the police, because what they're doing, being young and being out in the public, is not a crime. Now, you enforcing a curfew when you should be doing all this other shit and you're being negligent, and then using police to enforce your half-ass policy, like, this is wrong, y'all. I mean, I can't get down and break it down all the ways that it's wrong, but it's so wrong. It's so wrong. And then turning police loose on our young people, our young Black people. Y'all saw them out there. It's waiting for more disaster. It's inviting more disaster to occur. It's a mess. It's a mess, and it's gonna continue to happen. And I'll just say with this on COVID, I'm moving on. Information is powerful. Y'all, we have to make smart choices and do what we gotta do. Continuing on the discussion of race and how things are happening, because again, with COVID, it's not just the disease. One, I just want to say this. Remember that a terrorist attack happened 2 months ago. So January 6th, there was a terrorist attack on the United States of America carried out by many terrorist citizens, domestic terrorists here in this country. And they want us to forget. They started retelling the story right away. They never called it an act of terrorism. And there's some people that are being tried ish. They're petitioning. Like, I've seen people petitioning to get out of jail because they gotta go take their finals and stuff like that. I'm like, you ain't been in school in months. Like, what, really? But how they're getting out of being held accountable for the terrorist attack. You guys just need to remember this stuff. And then you also need to remember who these people were. Who were they? They were everyone. They were everyday people that are, your neighbors. They are, and I'm not saying that this particular person was there in Washington, D.C., but it was people like this too. I'm going to share my screen with you. They were everyone. They were teachers, they were firefighters, they were food service workers, they were military, they were police officers. And so when we think about what's happening in the world and the things that they would have us to focus on, remember, Black folks, we got to stay focused on us, because things happen to us all the time. So here we had in Los Angeles, there was a traffic accident where this retired LAPD officer hit this Black man's car. And then he was on video acting a fool, calling this young man, I'm not going to play it, but he called this young man all kind of N-words, called him a monkey, told him to go get back in his cage. That's who these people were. They're everybody everywhere. They're these white racists everywhere, hiding in plain sight, not even hiding, emboldened. And they do these things to us on a daily basis. That's who these people are. So we need to stay focused on things that are happening to us and to our community. They don't want us to think about that or to remember that. But we can't be distracted. We need to remember that there is a war on Blackness. And there has been for hundreds of years, right? So even with COVID, as I was saying, there's the death from our exposure to the disease. That happens. You get COVID, you get sick and die from it. That happens. But there's also the death that we experience when being exposed to the system, the medical system, right? Remember this medical system that is experimented on us, from obstetrics and gynecology experiments on Black bodies, to the horrible things that they did to Henrietta Lacks, to Dr. Susan Moore, more recently, who died from neglect in the system. There was a study that came out recently about how people are dying from a lack of medical coverage. So they're not getting the care that they need. So that happens to us. Inequality in treatment, that's killing us in COVID. So when we talk about racism in America and what it means or what it looks like to be systemic, that's part of it. Systemic racism, us not even getting care when there is access, or not even having access to the care that we should be entitled to as human beings. Certainly during a pandemic, that kills us. We can't forget that. Other things and examples of systemic racism. I got to share this with you because I saw this. I thought this was some of the craziest mess out there. I'm gonna share. Just give me just a moment to get this queued up for y'all. All right. And Lamar, feel free to chime in as I'm sharing anything too. I'm going to share my screen. I don't know if you heard about this in Connecticut, but I just want you guys to watch this.
Of the Connecticut Parents Union, who is a Black woman, said when she recently went inside this TD Bank on Queen Street in Southington, she couldn't believe what she was told when trying to make a withdrawal.
I go inside, I hand my TD Bank card and my license. They were cordial. I'm not even gonna say they were rude.
But then she said she was waiting.
And I see her over there, and it's like, oh, she looked like she's going through my account. Okay, maybe that's just the policy.
A couple of minutes later, the teller came back.
And she hands me my license, and she says, I don't feel comfortable giving you the money.
She was attempting to withdraw over $1,000 to pay a vendor of the Connecticut Parents Union.
Pause. Okay, I can go on, but the bottom line is she ended up going to another branch to get her money out, which I thought was ridiculous, that she had to do that. So this Black woman goes into a bank, this TD Bank in Connecticut, to get money out of her account. This white teller doesn't give her money out of her account because she tells her she don't feel comfortable giving her the money out of her account. She wasn't closing her account. She was doing an everyday bank transaction. This white woman said, I don't feel comfortable giving it to you. Ain't that some shit? What? What? Where is my, I can't even, I got props for days. I can't find nothing right now. Hell yeah, that was some bullshit. Bullshit detected. Level 10. What?
Bullshit level, DEFCON 5.
DEFCON 5 level bullshit. You understand? What? Are you kidding me? You ain't gonna give me my money because you don't feel comfortable. Have a who? Have a what? So, Black folks, this is an example of systemic racism. This Black woman, what did she do? She went to another branch to do the withdrawal so she could complete her business. No, close your account. Black people, this is how you affect your Black power. We don't need a leader to do this, that, and the other. We ain't got to do all these marches. Take your fucking money out that bank. Don't ever bank with them again. Don't go to no other branch. Go to a whole nother bank. All Black people, if we all take our money out of TD and any of their assets, because banks have access, they will feel us and treat us better. This woman should have been fired on the spot. Here's your last check. Out. Did that happen? No. There was a statement released. We're going to talk about statements in a minute because we've been talking about weaponized language. You hear this shit? Y'all hear this? Lamar, did you hear this? Did you see this? I'm sorry I muted you, but damn, what? This is some foolishness. But this is the kind of stuff that happens to us every day.
Cousin, not to interrupt, but what that reminds me of, it was a lady, I think it happened Friday. She's a Black business owner. She sells hair, like the hair store. The Chinese people in the area that had their beauty supply store has been doing racist stuff. So that way she wouldn't make any money and stuff. And they're trying to make her close the store. But it's the same thing. We need to support our Black businesses. And just like you said with the bank, if we take our money out of these major banks, you know, excuse the expression, white people don't like their money to be hid.
Right.
And so if we start doing that and supporting our own self, then maybe things will start to change.
Yeah. And the thing about it is that for me and my goals as a Black person is not what white people gonna do and if they gonna get it, if they ever gonna treat me fair. I'm not waiting on that. I'm not holding I suffocate, hold my breath for that. Like, I'm not trying to do that. But what I can do is flex my Black power for my Black life, my son's Black life, my Black community, and do what we could do. What we could do right here, because we need banking. And there's other banks, whether it's their banks, our banks, some other people's banks, whatever. But we don't have to bank with this one. Let me show you how powerful I can be. If her and the 5, 10 Black people that she know took their money out, they would feel that. And then 5, 10 Black people that they know took their money out, and so on and so forth. We can just say no to the bullshit. That is some bullshit. What you're talking about. So we know who corners the market, as they say, Black-owned hair supply. By the way, this is from Black-owned Boho Locks, and I ordered these sisters hand make this, and I ordered from y'all. Thank y'all. But we can shop at Black-owned beauty supply and get our own suppliers and do all this stuff. Yes, flex your power and flex it in your pocketbook.
But a lot of people also don't realize that before it was Wall Street in New York, we was the first Black Wall Street before they established that. They burnt the whole town down behind Black Wall Street.
In Oklahoma, yes. Which you can also find in your Black History flashcards by Urban Intellectuals. Yes.
Hey, I need those, cousin. I need those.
Yeah, urbanintellectuals.com. Black-owned, urbanintellectuals.com. Know your history. Yes, you can. So we have to. Stuff is happening to us every single day. And so my focus is on that. Yes, I love everybody, global citizen. Y'all know this about me, but I got to talk to us. I got to love us, because us is me first. I'm Black, been Black my whole life. My mama, my daddy, my grandparents, my cousins, everybody, we this. So I got to take care of myself and my circle, my community. And we need to know, because stuff is happening to us on a regular. This stuff is happening on a regular. Another thing is, we're talking about systemic racism. I'm going to share this story with you real quick. Let me share my screen. This happened. So this brother here, this is Marvin Scott III. Marvin Scott III was having a moment. He was a person who suffers from some mental illness, and he was just standing outside a little strip mall in Allen, Texas, smoking a little joint, and murmuring to himself. He was talking to himself, and the police came. And they arrested this Black man for smoking a joint outside talking to himself. 26 years old, diagnosed schizophrenic. Now, what happened when they got him to jail in this facility? They took him to jail. They didn't take him to a mental facility. They didn't take him to a hospital where he could get some help and some treatment. They took him to a jail, and in this jail, they pepper sprayed him. They kneeled on his neck. They kneeled on him, and they restrained him to death. They killed this man, essentially, who was smoking a joint outside, took him to jail, and murdered him. This happened. So when people are on my phone and in my email talking about, Chamia, why you didn't say, why you not talking about this, that, and the other, I'm talking about stuff that's happening to me and my people every single day. It ain't stopped because there isn't a trending hashtag right now. It hasn't stopped because some corporation isn't putting out a statement about my people or what's going on with my people. No, there's stuff happening to us every day. Now, there's the things that we hear about or we see on social media, but there's so much more everywhere. That's what makes it systemic. In every aspect of our life, it shows up. And it's hurtful. It's hurtful to have to constantly live in this. Now, there's other things going on in the world. And I talk about weaponized language and stuff like that. And so in my 9-to-5 life, in my corporate life, and you know, things like that, I'm a communicator. This is what I do, what I get paid to do, advising people on communicate. I do this. I'm an expert at that. And so I've seen statements coming out about, you know, what happened with this white man who went and killed these various people. And I'm not just saying he wasn't just Asian people that he killed either. This white domestic terrorist, for whatever his reasons are, because they came out immediately, and I was so disgusted. We talk about weaponized language. The first press conferences, they talk about the man, how he was a church-going man, a Southern Baptist who was having a bad day. That's what they weaponize language. Y'all better start to recognize this stuff. Anyway, since this man killed these people, these companies have been putting out statements on you know, what's going on with the Asian community, stuff like that. And of course, I have been asked by leaders in various capacities, whether it's corporations, schools, you know, whatever, and all these different high impact places, you know, what should they say? And should they put out, and my advice, because I don't write statements for people, I'm not going to be a part of that because I don't agree with writing statements. So I will share with you something that I wrote today, because I received a message today, you know, people advice seeking, you know, consulting on a message about the hate crimes that have happened recently to a particular community. So my response was, and I'll share this with you, there's, you know, a couple little things that I'll take out, but I said, hi there. I don't think that we've put out statements in the past. I recall having a discussion around statements versus responses last summer, when many organizations were issuing statements given the protest of the murder of George Floyd. My advice is to be consistent in however we respond when things happen to various communities. To be intentional and to issue statements that communicate a response that provides specific actions the organization is taking. To me, hate and violence should not occur against anyone, and no one needs a statement to affirm the obvious. Issuing statements has become trendy. Okay, issuing statements has become trendy. Lots of organizations are on the bandwagon, and few mention specific measurable action to combat the issues at hand. This is my hot take. So people coming to ask me, Chamia, what should we say about what's going on? We need to issue a statement. I need to issue a statement. I done read so many statements from leaders this week that don't say shit. Y'all just putting words out because they're meaningless to me. They are meaningless to me. And oftentimes they are meaningless to the communities that are impacted. There is a difference between a statement and a response. I don't need a company or a leader to give me words. Otherwise, I don't need them to issue a statement about something. I certainly don't need them to state the damn obvious, that this is wrong, that this shouldn't happen. Duh. Hate is wrong. Duh. We need to be in solidarity. Duh. Like, I don't need that. Now, what I need you to do, Coca-Cola, Delta, like the sister said, my mama told me about, the sister said, charge them. They issued some statements too. What we need from these pharmaceutical companies, what we need from all these corporations, what we need from all these leaders, these elected officials are responses, tangible actions that we can hold them accountable to. That's what we need. We need a response. We need change. Change is not words. I don't even care if you think the same. You could think how you think, but as it pertains to me and how you interact with me and how it impacts my life and the decision-making and the money and the resources and all this, that's the response I need to see. So nah, I mean, if y'all want to keep hearing words, people's words when stuff happens, and they don't even issue statements when everything happens. Look at all the stuff that I said just happened this week. This Black woman not being given access to her money. This ain't even all. This just a couple little things that I share real quick because we ain't got all. We would, be here for days. If I shared all the things that happen to us Black folks just on a weekly basis, we didn't even get to how many of us across the South, because it wasn't just Texas where this freeze happened. Texas, I know I've talked to people from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, who don't have access to clean water, whose pipes broke, they can't get people out to repair. For whatever reason, all these different things going on. Black folks living in distress right now without water. I don't need a statement saying that ain't right. I don't need a statement saying we need to stand in solidarity. I need action. I need my people to have clean water. I don't need you to tell me that it was wrong, that people shouldn't be knocking people over the head and pushing them and robbing them or shooting people up. Duh. We need to stand with the family. Duh. And what y'all gonna do for real? And corporations, if you're a multi-billion-dollar corporation and you give $1 million to 5 different entities, is that a response? So Black folks, I guess the point for me is, you know, that we can't get caught up in the smoke in the mirrors. We can't go chasing and fighting for breadcrumbs. We need to stay focused. We need to recognize what it is and flex the power that we have where we're at. And we're very powerful. If we weren't powerful, we wouldn't be such a threat. Okay? You are powerful. What does it take? I had this conversation this week too. Who is going to help us? Who you help? Who's the leader? You're the leader. All of us have some power, some things that we could do that are meaningful where we're at, including that sister who wouldn't get your money. Take your money out of that whole system. You don't need to give them no explanation. Take it out and move it. It's 18 million other banks online. If you want a branch, they're there too. It don't matter you didn't bank with them over 16 years. If you listen to the whole story, she would have said she didn't bank with them for 16 years and they was even kind when she walked in there. Why are you patting them on the back and they just treated you like a fool? All right. I said a lot. I'm feeling a whole lot of things. I'm going to transition to self-care. Lamar, do you have anything else to add on this topic of racism in America or this foolishness that I've shared? Certainly about weaponized language and us not needing more statements, but needing actual response.
No, I have nothing else to say.
All right. I'm like, let me check in because I know me, I'm keep going. It's a mess. It makes me upset. Self-care is essential, Black folks. It's essential for all of us. What have you been doing for self-care, Lamar, this past week or two? What's one thing you've done?
Well, I've been slacking because I need to go get my hair cut. And I was supposed to go do it on Friday, but I've been slacking. I'm going to take care of it tomorrow.
All right. I can think of something you've done for self-care.
What's that?
You go fishing.
Oh, yeah, that's fun. Did you see my little shark I caught?
I didn't. I did not. Did you post
Oh,
something?
that happened last week.
Okay, no, I haven't seen it.
It's on Facebook.
Okay, I'll check it out. But
After a year of fishing, I finally caught a leopard shark out of all things.
You got to catch it and cook it?
I don't know how those things taste. I heard there's a certain way you got to clean it. So I haven't got nobody to clean it. So if I catch one again, I'll figure it out.
I'm sure there's a YouTube video for that too. There's YouTube videos for everything, but fishing is a part of self-care. What I have been doing for my self-care in this since the last time we were together, folks, I have been working on my boundaries and setting them and keeping the boundaries that I set. And what that has looked like for me is taking space from situations, from opportunities, from or things disguised as opportunities, from individuals, from conversations, from reading or exposing myself to certain things. I have been taking space. And that's a way that I'm creating and enforcing a boundary. And it's felt great for me. It's been great for me. Sometimes it's hard to do because I want to tap back in or do stuff. But on the other side of that feeling is what I actually need. And I have been making room for whatever comes next or for the things that I need in my life or things that I'm praying and meditating for to manifest. And sometimes we have to clear some stuff out, whether it's actually like papers and clutter, which I have, like I collect paper, it's genetic stuff. But, making room for the things that I say that I want in my life, in my heart, in my mind, in my spirit, in my physical space. That's something I've been doing and continuing to support and spread Black love, because Black love is revolutionary. And so those are some of the things that I have been doing the last couple of weeks for self-love. I recommend that you guys continue to do self-love, what it looks like for you. I would love to hear, because tell me, drop it in the comments, DM me. It might be something that I can do. It might be something that someone else hasn't considered. Oh, yeah, I do like that. Oh, that does feel good to me. Let me do that for myself. So that's why I ask people, like, what do you do for your self-care? Because it might be something that I can consider to do for myself, or something that I can share with others that they might want to do for them. So drop what you're doing for self-care in the comments on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, DM me, whatever we need to see and hear what we're doing in ways we can care for ourselves. And certainly, all of us continue to love yourselves and to spread Black love. Remember, that's revolutionary and it feels good. Giving love comes back to you 10 times at least, over 100 times over. And that's one of the greatest things we could do, is loving. So with that said, we are going to transition over to Dear Love. Hashtag Dear Love the Movement. Y'all keep y'all love letters, questions, topics coming in. I appreciate you. Some can't wait for a response, so I'll respond real quick. It's like, Chamia, this crucial, is hot right now, I need to know. Or I'm arguing right now, I need to do this. Or I'm about to lead this and do this. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Talk you off the ledge. So I do that too, and I'm happy to be an ear and to support, because I believe in love and we need that. And first of all, I want to clarify for those of y'all who haven't heard this before, for those who need a reminder, I believe in Black love. Black love is revolutionary, and I'm not here to play. So when you're writing your love letters, questions, and topics, I'm going to give you a real response. It's not about tearing anybody down. It's not about breaking people up, because that's what they want. They don't want us loving ourselves. They don't want us loving each other. They don't want us loving our kids. They don't want us loving our community. And so what I'm trying to do is to build that up. That's what we need. Black love is essential. And I love you, Black people. I love y'all. So that's what Dear Love is about. As a reminder, I'm not about putting people on blast. So if you include someone's name, I will either change it or I will take it out, because we're not about putting people on blast, but we're about giving real responses, thoughts, and solutions that could potentially help in a situation. So with that said, please keep your love letters, questions, and topics coming in. You can email them to me, info at ChamiaLaRae.com, or you can DM me anywhere on social media at just Chamia, JUSTCHAMIA. All right, so let's get into Dear Love. This time we have a few questions. All right, Lamar, go ahead and unmute yourself. So you could give your hot take on these questions. All right, so the first question, and those of you on Facebook, drop it into. The first question is, how important is sex in a relationship? What's your thoughts?
On a scale of 1 to 10, maybe a 6, I guess.
Why you say that?
Because I think a relationship is just not based on sex. There's more to it than that, but that's the way I feel. It's about a 6, 5 or 6.
Okay, that's fair. So my response is a couple of different things. One, it depends on the people in the relationship, because everybody doesn't place the same value on every different component. Now, I think that intimacy is important to every relationship, and intimacy can be expressed in lots of different ways, including physically. But it is essential. Intimacy is essential to any relationship. I'm talking about romantic relationships here. Now, the sex and the amount of sex and how prevalent it is, or not prevalent, but how much of a priority it is in a relationship, that's up to the two people in it. For me, it's a very big part of a relationship. I'm a very physical being. I pray that never changes. Those who know me know that I want to be, to the day literally, I'm fine to be on my back, when I go, Lord, thank you. Oh, I'm out. I'm fine with that being me. I'm like, let me go like that. 40, 50 years from now, I'm good with that. Like, till the wheels fall off. It is very important to me, but it's not everything in a relationship. And relationships take a variety of ingredients for that soup to work. For the gumbo to be right, it got to have lots of different things and ingredients and components to it. Sex is one of them. It's a critical component for me, but it ain't everything. It ain't everything. And the amount, the intensity, the quality may ebb and flow. for a lot of different reasons and on various sides of the relationship. And you have to leave room and understanding for that as well and communicate through it. So yeah, it's important, but it's importance is subject to the perspective of those in the relationship and the weight that they place on it. And so you have to communicate that.
And a lot of people aren't good at communicating that either.
Yeah. Yeah, including
Okay.
like how you like it. That's something I had that conversation this week too with a gentleman too who, you know, believes that he's a great lover and, you know, was talking about, you know, some challenges in with his and pleasing his partner, things like that, and got into well, I won't say please, but just some different challenges with that partnership relationship, and you know, about that person being difficult to please, and they might be, but whatever it is, you have to recognize that each person is an individual. So the things that worked with whomever before a different person doesn't necessarily work with this person over here. Anyone that you're with, you have to take time to learn and understand each other, including with the physical body. Ladies, every man's thing ain't the same, so don't think you can get up there and do whatever your little move is and that's gonna be like great to this person that you're with in this moment. That might not work for them. Everyone is different. Same thing, men. With that thing you do or how you do it, you know, with all your experiences, that doesn't necessarily work for the person that's in front of you. You have to learn them and be open if your desire is to please the other person, right? Because some people just get up there and it's all about them. That's tragic, but it happens. But if you care about being pleasing to the other person, then you have to take the time to get to know their body and what's pleasing to them. So that's my hot take on that. Anything else to add before I go on to the next question, Lamar?
No,
On sex.
it's something me and you're gonna have to talk about later, cousin. When you come over.
Yeah, you know I'm here for it. I'm here for it. And I mean, we should have more conversations about sex. I mean, we could maybe have and people say, you need to have just an episode on love.
Well, you know,
you need to have an episode just on this. Okay, we can do that.
You know, I'm gonna go ahead and put it out there. So I don't know if I dealt with this the right way, but it pissed me off.
Okay.
It was one of my friends that we've been dealing with each other for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I never pressured her into sex or anything. So she had been dropping hints since the beginning of the year. About 2 weeks ago, both of us were drinking, but neither one of us was tipsy or drunk. She initiated it, it happened, but the next day, she guilt tripped me about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so me being me, I went there. I said, you know, the alcohol didn't have nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
And before we went there with each other, you know, I stopped you and I asked, are you sure this is what you want to do? She said, yeah, we both grown, we know what we're doing, and it's not an issue. Mm-hmm. So we wound up doing it. The next morning, she guilt tripped me about it.
Mm-hmm.
So that caused the issue for me because she made me feel like if it wasn't for the alcohol or whatever, no, I shouldn't say it like that. She just basically made me feel guilty about the whole situation.
Mm-hmm.
And I told her, I said, anybody that knows me knows that I don't go around taking advantage of women. So I don't appreciate you trying to, you know, guilt trip me about it. And, you know, we did communicate with it. So why is it an issue this morning instead of you saying something last night? You didn't say no, you didn't say stop. Everything was fine. So what's the issue? She never did say what the issue was. So, you know, kind of just annoyed me a little bit behind that. So I think communication is a big part of it.
Yeah, communication is a huge part. I'm hearing a few things. The first one, I'm sorry you had that experience. Hopefully the sex was at least good. You ain't gotta answer that. But hopefully at least you got some good sex out of that situation. But real talk though, yes, communication is very important. And it sounds like before the act happened that you guys had enough communication to know, yes, this is what we both want to do. Yes, we both consent. We go on with this. I do not believe that alcohol is a good excuse for anything, but we're not going to get into the excuses. And I also feel that someone else's guilt does not necessarily need to be your own. But you started by saying that this is someone that you've known for some time so that you care. You care. So I think it's good to have that conversation. But I think that the approach to the conversation shouldn't be about the guilt that they're placing on you, because you can't let anybody place guilt on you. You be like, you don't have to accept that. But you heard really what it was is that person had some thoughts and feelings, whatever they might have been, about what transpired. So the thing is, ask some more probing questions about how is it that you feel about what happened? Do you regret it? Did you not enjoy it? Did it hurt you physically, mentally, or emotionally? What is it that you would like me to know? Is there something that I could have said or done differently? And then what you'll have to do with that information, including with this person's response the day after, is you have to decide if you want to continue that relationship, because you don't deserve to be treated that way. But if you care, find some understanding, and then also consider this. Do I drink with this person anymore? Do I even want to have sex with anymore? Maybe you pull that off and say, you know what, we had this and this is not how I get down. And so I just want to let you know off top that I won't be taking it there anymore. That's your power. You can say, I don't have to do that. And I know you, because I know you stay pulling them. You ain't never pressed for no woman. You stay pulling them. So you know what I mean? You can say, you know what, I'm just gonna let you know. I want to understand, because I care about you, how you're feeling. So I can address your thoughts and your feelings and have an understanding with you. Then once you do that, you can say, you know, but I've also decided that, you know, because I didn't like how I was made to feel after this happened, that I'm just letting you know we're not going to be going down this path anymore. I've been guilted before by a guy after it's happened. And, you know, whatever his feelings are, I sought to understand, and he broke it down for me. I was like, okay, and, you know, I'm sorry you feel that way. That's not how I feel, but fine. And we've never taken it there again. Now, that's their issue to deal with. If it's your issue to deal with it as it pertains to the relationship, but they got to deal with what's in their head. And sometimes it might be logical and understandable, sometimes it's not. But you address and you engage up to that point for the relationship. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. Tragic. But seriously, hopefully at least some good sex occurred first, and then just don't do it anymore. Because like, don't put yourself in that situation. You know, for someone to take something that was good and nice or beautiful and turning it into something ugly, like, don't do that. Or making it, you know, certainly making you feel like you or y'all did something wrong. Like, no, we don't play those games. That's not necessary. Or if someone that you care about, you get to an understanding, and you certainly move and proceed with caution as you go forward with that person. But if it's not, you know, certainly get an understanding so you can learn for yourself the next time, and then step. Anybody got time? You know, grown people, hella grown.
Oh,
We don't do those things. All right, next question. All right. Who sets the barometer for your sense of beautiful? With the pressure to have an hourglass shape, big butt, firm boobs that sit just so, baby hair, etc. at 40 plus, is this what it should be? Wow. Okay, so to me, I'm like, okay, this is a woman that wrote this question, but Lamar, I'll ask you first, like, who sets your standard for what you think a beautiful woman is? Where does that come from? And what this person wrote, do you require the women that you look at or you find attractive, do you require them to have an hourglass shape, a big butt, firm boobs that sit just so, and baby hair and all that?
Oh, wait, I gotta need time to think on that one.
All right, you think on that. You think on it and tap in when you're ready. I'm gonna respond. Those of you on Facebook, feel free to comment if you want. Who sets your barometer for your sense of beautiful? Chamia, I do. I do. My mama don't, my daddy don't, my family don't, my man don't if I had one, but the men that I deal with, the people I deal with romantically in my life don't, my child don't, you don't, y'all don't, I do. Because there are things that are presented as beautiful that aren't beautiful to me, period. And also because there are things that are beautiful on you, that's you. But what's beautiful for me is me. You know, what you put my face on somebody else, they might not look the same. So anyway, who said that? That's the first part, but there's some other things I want to get to. Who sets the bar? For me, it's me, period. I'm not trying to live up to anybody's standards outside of my own because I always come up short. I have to set my own bar, my own standards for everything in life, whether it's a beauty standard, as we're talking about here, my performance at work, me and the things that I achieve in my life. You know, I'm competing against myself, not against others. And Black folks, Black women, men, we have so many things stacked up against us and fighting and combating with us every step of the way and everything that we're doing. So to get to someone else's standard outside of mine, do you know the things I even have to compete with to get my own bar? But then I'm trying to compete with you and her and him and there, that doesn't make any sense. That's nonsense. It's crazy. So I don't think that that any of us should be setting standards for things about ourselves outside of ourselves. That's just me. That's crazy. Like, you could want to do things too. Oh, they have this, I would like to have that too. What do I need to do for me? It's not about comparing myself to them or trying to be them. It's like, oh yeah, I need that for myself as well, in a healthy kind of way. I will say this, because you get into some other stuff here, is a whole nother bigger issue. America's sick. Our world is real sick, and they're encouraging us to buy in and to be sick too, particularly when it comes to our physical presence and being. God made us all differently for a reason. There's a reason why there's diversity in the way that we look. There is a reason why there's diversity in body shape and size and hair color and type and all of that. There's a reason why, and it's a beautiful thing. Everyone was not born with a particular type of shape or with particular assets, if you would say. Assets being hair, eye, breast, boob, whatever you want to call that. You were born how you were born, and you were born, you look great. Now, there's some things people might want to address with themselves, and fine. But I think a lot of this stuff is moving towards some mental illness. Like the numbers of people that are getting plastic surgery, the fact that people are getting plastic surgery as children, it's a depression that is not being addressed. It's toxic to us. It's toxic to our families. It's toxic to our culture. It's toxic to our finances and growth. It's toxic. It's not healthy. Put that shit down. It's unnatural for everybody to have an hourglass shape. And the things you have to do to get one, some of us, it's very unhealthy and harmful to you. Do I have some little hairs up here? Yeah, these baby hairs, I don't know. I just call them edges, but they're not straight at all. And I had this hair, I'm not trying to swoop some stuff down and be like, I don't even like all that goop on my face. My hair don't even like all that. So I'm not trying to do that. That's beautiful on you. It's not for me. So don't be trying to compete to something that you don't like. Don't be trying to do something that's not for you and your body. Boobs that sit up and just, I nursed for a couple years. I had nice, firm, fibrous breasts before that. Afterwards, they done turned into some, what Badu say, with no bra, my nanny sag down low. Facts. They do. But guess what? They're natural in their mind, and I'm comfortable with it. Titties ain't supposed to look the same at 40 as they do at 16 and 20. They're not supposed to look at the same at 60 as they did at 30. They don't do that. That's what aging does. So you have to allow your body time to age. Now, take care of yourself. Yes, take care of yourself always. But trying to, nip and tuck and maintain and look like some other shit or somebody else's standards, it's a sickness. it is a sickness. And then you start getting into this augmentation, and there's a maintenance for that augmentation program too. It's a sickness. And Black women, we got to stop going down that path. A lot of us are chasing white beauty standards. So we trying to look like white women, a lot of them trying to look like us. All of it's sickness. And buying into that is ill. It's crazy. Now, I'm not saying and telling you how to wear your hair. I'm not telling you what to put in your body, not put in your body to do. You do what's healthy for you and what you want to do, but it's not according to anyone else's standard. It's according to your own. But you also have to leave room for nature and naturalness to occur, including what happens as you age. This person here talk about 40 plus. Is this what we should be? No, you should not be trying to look like you did when you was 20. Now, if you was health, there's some health standards that you want to achieve. When I was 20, I was more active. When I was 20, I was more toned and more. Well, those are some things that you could do if that's what you want to do. But expecting to be your 20-year-old self in your 40 or 50 or 60-year-old body is insane, because you're not. You're not. And a lot of times you're better. Your body has grown and adapted to where it needs to be in this life at this stage. So you got to keep that in mind too. Set your own bar. Check yourself. Tap in. Why do I think this? Why do I feel this? We could be tired, exhausted, sick, and depressed, and you will be all of those things chasing someone else's standard. If you stay on Instagram looking at all these people in these Photoshop and surgically applied and manipulated situations and that's what you're trying to be, well, you got to do all those things. But then what? And what if they change? Or what if that's not the trend anymore? Because a lot of this shit is a trend too. And you chasing a trend. That's not even what you like, but you think this is what you have to do for what? To be attracted to who? Are you attracted to yourself? Are you happy with yourself? Love you. Stop and ask some of these questions. And we definitely need to talk to the younger people too. These teenagers that's getting these augmentations and stuff. The parents need to be slapped. Yeah, I said it. Y'all need to be slapped by letting y'all kids do this stuff. Your brain's not even fully formed yet. Your body's either. And you're going to you changing and augmenting. You better hurry up and love yourself and your nose and your lips and your eyes and your hair and your butt and your breasts and your arms and your abs and your whatever else is on you. Love it. I love all of this. Like my grandma, she would ride with her arm up and I'm in the back seat and she was my granddaddy and I would play with this. I love that. Are there some things on myself that I'm working on? Yeah, but guess what? I still love all of this. Understand? Keeping up with that. Men too. Who y'all trying to keep up with? Be what? Go on somewhere and love yourself. Lamar, anything else you want to add on that?
I think a person's personality to me makes them a beautiful person or gorgeous. That's my main thing, their personality. And no, I don't need someone that's an hourglass person, because that doesn't look cute to me.
Yeah. It's not cute either. You said it, beauty starts from the inside, radiates out. You could be, packaged by Mattel on the outside. You could be Fisher Price made on the outside. They'd be completely hollow on the inside. Yep. You don't know shit. You can't think a thought for yourself. You can't spell nothing. You're not resourceful. You spiritually bankrupt. Like dangerous as a matter of fact.
In the famous words of our grandma, you can look gorgeous on the outside, but your personality make you messed up on the inside.
Yeah. So sis, whomever you are, put the phone down, put the computer down, put everybody else's standards down and set your own bar. And no, all this stuff, the hourglass, big butt, firm boobs that sit just so, baby hair, at 40 plus, whomever is doing that, if that's what they like for them and they're setting their own standards and that's what they do that for them, but don't feel any pressure outside of yourself to conform to somebody else's shit. That's not you. Do you. Exclamation point. All right, we are at time, but before I get out of here, I want to Remind y'all, keep y'all love letters, questions, and topics coming in. Hashtag DearLoveTheMovement. DM me anywhere on social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, at Just Chamia. You can also email me, info@ChamiaLaRae, your Dear Love Letters, questions, topics. You can also email me, info@ChamiaLaRae.com if you are interested in participating in the documentary. I want to talk to us Black folks. Don't let them tell the history of this time. Let's tell our own. Let's document this. I would love to talk to you. So we'll remind you about that. Want to give a couple of shout outs for people giving, doing good-ish at this time. Before I do that, I just want to say, again, Black people, I love you. I'm praying for you. I've talked to several folks this week that are really going through, that have experienced losses in their family. Several folks, these babies battling depression, children, young children battling depression, teenagers battling depression. So parents, family, village, all of us, let's wrap our hands, our arms, our love around these young people. They need us to talk to them, ask those probing questions, get all up in their business. They ain't got no business. We need to get all up in there. We need to know and stay connected, engaged, and loving on them. And it takes all of us to be loving on them. So please continue to do that. Pray for these young people. As hard as you think this life is on us, it's hard on these young people. This COVID and living a year in this different way and having their whole social circles and way of interacting socially change and evolve is affecting them. So we need to love on them and check in with them, give them all the extra that we can. We just talked about this 40-plus-year-old sister talking about the pressure that she feels to conform to these ugly, or not ugly, but these different beauty standards. Think about how the young people are feeling and what they think that they have to be and to look like in order to be seen. Okay, in order to be seen or to be heard or to be considered, this is what they think they have to do. So we have a lot of work to do with our young people. And I just want us to remember that as I'm, some of the things that I've heard this week. I love y'all, young people, and you are family, and you are important, and you are valued, and you are needed. I need you. So hang in there. All right, couple shouts out. So Facebook community groups. There's some Facebook community groups that are giving lots of love and support to our Black community, from singles groups, the awakening groups, different health groups, sister locks groups. People would tell me about different things. Thank y'all, members of the Black community who created these Facebook groups, a place for people to dialogue and receive the support that we need. So that's important. Parents that are doing their best during the pandemic, especially during, as they're telling us to open up, do this, that, and the other, and the kids are battling all the things that they're battling, and you got to work, and you trying your best, and. I see you, I recognize you, I appreciate you, hang in there. And certainly truth tellers, because remember, there's a war on truth as well. Truth tellers, I salute you. We need that all day. Lamar, any shout outs for people doing good-ish you want to?
No.
Yeah, all right. Well, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. I try to be supportive.
Thank you.
I was missing out the last couple of weeks. That's my fault. I've been losing track of time.
That's all right. That's all right. But you're here today. I appreciate it. At any time, you can go back and watch prior episodes on my Facebook page, or you can subscribe. Please do subscribe. I haven't plugged this enough, y'all. I'm not good at marketing myself, but y'all tell me, remind us to subscribe to your YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can always go back and watch episodes there. You can share the links with your network if you think that this is a value. Thank y'all who've been rocking with the Just Chamia Show since 2014. Thank y'all. Appreciate you. Black folks, until next time, be blessed, be a blessing, stay safe, stay vigilant. Don't let them fool you about this COVID mess. Keep loving yourselves, keep loving each other. I love you. Y'all hang in there, and I will see you next time. Bye.